Hi, if you'd like to come on in and have a seat for some symbolic support. I'm STEPH. Spirit box here is kicking as the spirits. Here's the ink blot that we'll utilize to inspire our session today. If you want to take a screenshot there, we're coming. And we have Tarot and Oracle to support. So if you'd like to take a moment with me to close the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the lock on the linear, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not sure if we're in like a astral or afterlife aura or alien aura. So I'm going to go with it and just see what comes through. But of course, always feel free to see, sense, and feel for yourself. Comment below, all that kind of good stuff. There's an exclamation mark. I don't know if it's excitement or we're here. I'm here. I'm seeing a sock puppet. And it's almost like, you know, when you're going through, for some reason it's coming through as like a therapy. And then they'll put on sock puppets to help the conversation flow a little bit more innocently. Right? Like it's easier to talk to a depiction of something kinder, but it has the ability to co-communicate, even though, you know, like we would know there's a human behind the sock puppet. That intermediate is very, very helpful. Okay, I'm seeing a pair of pants or human legs. I'm going to share this with you if I can. I'm right in here. So there's the pants, there's the sock puppet, there's the exclamation mark, and it's drawing me, even like there's an elephant here, if you can see that with me. There we go.
Worship.
Okay, and I'm being drawn to this in the negative space, this being right here. Right there. I'm going to dive in a little bit more. Yeah, it's I'm getting like Pope vibes, which is just a symbol for me of some sort of worship, but I'm not sure if it's an earthly worship. It's not my concern. It's the concept of worship. It's the power of worship. The power of worship. Ways to wisdom is coming through. And being wise in what one worships. Many are wicked at this time. And that's not in a judgment of universal justice, per se. It is the way they are working and learning through learning power. Their ego may seem comfortable or confident. The industries, etc., apply what you may. But it's a course of learning nonetheless. I'm seeing those with a lot of power projected in this wicked ways. And that's a very broad term. And that interacts with people differently. So if there's like some that learn in that playground, well, it's received non-wicked, right? And for others who align differently and learning in a slightly different playground, but it's like there's an observational view being had. I can see you, you can see me. It's like we don't align, that's okay, but the feeling's slightly different. Again, there's a non-judgment, and when I say non-judgment, it feels all-encompassing, not in a glass ceiling. Well, I love until there's turmoil, or I accept until there's this difference, until this glass ceiling is hit or something. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very all-encompassing. And there's love on both sides, just that the love focus is in different playgrounds and learning
Libra.
That power balance. Thank you. It's the scales of all that is. Of all that is within oneself. So this being is stepping forward in regards to worship it. So if I may, thinking about, contemplating, whether it's in your belief, cultures, lineage, this, that, or the other, even in your job, bring it right home into the mundane, what you believe about your partner, what you believe about your pets, what you believe about your home, car. There is a line that tethers us to exerting amount of energy into that egregor, to that energy force that, if I may, like, consumes. What it does after that, I admit I'm not privy to seeing that. I just know it consumes. Maybe adding to it, it's like I can see it, a tinfoil ball getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Looking at those beliefs in some way, shape, or form, they're like a line of worship of that belief system, of that core belief. Maybe out of repetition, because I keep seeing like things being thrown. It's like repetitive. So it's, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. And even though because it's so repetitive, it becomes more powerful the longer it goes on. I don't know if that's a great example, but hopefully you understand it. It's just the consistency, the constant, whatever, if it's external or internal, yes, to change that, regardless if I'm touching or not touching, it's the constant and becomes more powerful, possibly aggravating or possibly inspiring. So notice deep down inside, the worshiping energy steps forward. I think it's the energy of worship, or perhaps one faucet of it. The elephant of remembering, pants on. There's also there's that line. Okay, so I'm seeing like it's very deep in here in the pants, or what were the pants right here, and I'm seeing it. What is it? It's not ice hockey. Well, I guess it could be ice hockey. Like I'm seeing some sort of rink. Interesting that I'm saying rink, because in another reader's channel, and if you haven't checked her out, An Abstraction of Light, she mentions, okay, she did a reading for Psychic Empaths, her most recent one. Anyway, I commented in there because it had sparked, I think it was about time, it sparked in the moment that I was watching and absorbing and floating around. It brought in skates, like ice skates. And now I'm here in what I'm seeing is a rink. For some reason, it's hockey oriented. And even though I'm in Canada, I personally am not a hockey fan or sports fan in general, but
Scrying.
There's like an ice rink. Then I'm also seeing it like foosball. Yeah, it's foosball. And then it's almost like a shuffleboard hockey or something like that. I'm not sure what it is. Like, I know what it is. It was at arcades and stuff. So it's like these different ways of playing the same game, or at least having the same board. Does that make sense? The same board, maybe different elements, different energy uses. Okay, something about remembering. And there's this line, which I'm seeing it like the line down the middle, like the seam of a pants, but it goes all the way through the perspective, or the okay, so I'm more comfortable using the word prismatic programming of the paradisical person. Okay, so those are a bunch of words put together. When animals have been tagged, and that's what I'm seeing in ears of these elephant ears, that like a 3-hole punch, but it's a single hole punch, and it's showing me a hole punch I used to have in like different shapes. I think one was a dragonfly, this, that, or the other, but it was the heart one. So there's a tag in like, imagine if like your auric ears are out here in like these elephant ears. And some have been tagged. I don't enjoy that sensation, but okay, I'm going to follow it, because when I lean into its heart shape, it means something different. it's like there's different tags. Like I had those different single hole punches for like crafting or whatnot. I can't remember what all the shapes were. I think one was a heart, one was a star, one was a dragonfly, maybe one was a flower. So there's like these different things. Okay. I'm seeing hippopotamus. And they are something in the brain, and I don't know the words to use correctly. It's kind of like, if you're playing lawyer or judge with your friends and your kids and you're like, I object, but you don't know what you're objecting to. You don't even know if you're using it in the right context. This is that moment. There's something about the hippopotamus, hippocampus, or something in the brain. Is that a thing? That's stepping forward. There's some sort of channel dripping down. And it starts to bring me down through that line of the hockey rink. So when I come into the worship thing again, it's like this exclamation. Sorry, I'm not giving you the finger, but I did try and get as much ink off my hands as possible. Like if I draw down and whatever that is that I'm thinking about, whatever I'm realizing, doing,
I want to leave.
Change, something you may want to leave, somewhere you may want to go. In the essence of leaving, I would like to replace it with somewhere I would like to focus on going. Anyway, and as it steps forward, as I'm noticing that, it's like this opens up, and that's when the exclamations arise. It's like, aha. Aha, or aha, not the opposite of aha, but I guess it's an aha in either way. Okay, so I'm wandering out to the sides here. The ears are attached to this. They kind of look like something. I'm going to wander in there for a moment. Oh, okay. So see how right here, it looks like kind of like a snowman, or like, there's the bottom, the middle, and the head. And then there's this one. There's a cultivating quietly outside of the ear space. You know what it makes me feel like? It feels like I'm doing something. Sorry, I'm seeing something in my mind's eye, and I don't know what it was, but it felt very nurturing. And it's like this person's playing with something. And I say person, just an energy. Maybe it's of yourself if you're aligning with this scry, and if not, completely release. That's okay. Like I'm doing something, almost like I'm cultivating, manifesting, but I'm having to do it offside of this broad rink. Maybe it's occult-esque. Maybe it's esoteric-esque. Maybe it's offside, just simply what you typically do. Think.
No.
It's like watching. Okay, this is a very blatant way, but hopefully again you can draw it out. It's like watching only one news channel and then realizing, oh, I didn't know there was like independent journalism happening, or whatever they're called, like the main media. To, I don't even want to say it's like it's just different. There's different perspectives. Does that make sense? So I'm off to the side here, because it's almost like I want to practice. I want to practice something, but I'm on this embryo. I'm seeing duck feet. Yes, duck feet. I'm also seeing lightning. I feel like I'm in an embryo, which is interesting. Seeing a Bigfoot as well.
Worship.
Bigfoot. Somebody might feel like they're filling big shoes, or have big shoes to fill. Then I want to come back to the belief. I'm personally in this moment examining what values that I share with others, what values or ethics, ideas, experiences that fulfill that belief. So I'm going to go a little bit in more. So there's the belief, and then I'm going to go into the subtleties that support that belief. Where am I going to go after that? And then it's almost like from this present moment, I want to look at them and go, do they still pertain? Are they mine? Have I outgrown them? Have they changed? Have they evolved? And if they have evolved, do I align with that evolution? I'm part of the evolution of the belief system because it's like I've collected other things. I feel like I'm very much so in the subconscious state. Did we actually? No, I feel like there was an unknown of what aura we were going into. Ritual. Can you feel them? Wild creatures linked by the very blood you will spill into your craft. A ritual of dedication to self and those whose gazes hold fire, but whose whispers carry you softly through the unknown. Ritual is a form of expressing worship. Faith is worship an expression of faith. It's adding to an egregore of something. And there's many of them. Again, I come back to the consuming. I'm a consumer of this energy. Possible many. It's like your family is, then your town, then your country, this, right? And then the planet, and what the scope of wandering out into a state of oneness of all to down to the singular or singularity of one is one, or one is all is one. But for some reason I'm seeing like these different footsteps. Like I hit glass ceilings that challenge that. Throat, yeah, and speak it to myself. Bring it home within the self. Okay, so I'm going to flip it here. Sorry if I drag on, but there's the power of like time travel. You can hit pause, come back to it later. Right here at the center space, I'll try and mark it in the timestamp, like halfway for the flip. But I do thank you for joining me, for sharing, and subscribing, and for all those who support in one way or another. You warm my haunted heart. Spider, what a wild web we weave, dear child, a delicious mystery, untamed. The spider web's in the mind. This web, is that the brain thing? Protection. This is my house, stained by the very blood flowing through its walls, covered in a veil of delicious prayers, yet deadly to those who dare lift if it's hidden.
Come back.
Okay, I'm coming back into scrying. Sorry. Opposite direction. Thank you. I'm seeing water seep out in oh, is it water? This is very much so in an area in which I don't have language for, but I'm going to do my best again. Okay, so I'm seeing a face here. It's sideways, there's the outline. And then it's at the, not at the base of the neck, but just above, wooden Reiki, I know it's the jade pillow. And it's leaking or releasing or formulating again from that opposite side of what I'm creating. I'm not sure. Maybe you can resonate in and of yourself. And as it something about that point, right? That jade pillow. And then it's doing this. It's coming into this space that I thought was water, but I think it's I don't even know if it's the right words. cerebral fluid. Oh my goodness, my linear mind just lacks when I'm in the liminal space, but that's okay. I'm not gonna get stuck there, but hopefully you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna follow that. Okay, it's like I'm seeing ocean waves, like if you're seeing the ice caps, but it was made of fire, like fire is flowing. Again, it doesn't have to be hellish in nature, symbolically speaking, but it does feel fluid, maybe like lava, passionate.
I'm stuck.
Am I giving passion away? Something about the sleep. Can I wander into, I'm going to grab the EC Emotional Kaleidoscope deck that wanders into the subconscious, conscious, and preconscious. I'll put the link below should you be interested. And it might ask us a question that can, help get that fluid flowing. Because it comes into a shoreline. But then the shoreline, though the shoreline is shared, it splits off. And in simplicity's sake, it's like I want to say that left and right-handed path. But they're just mirrors of each other, of the same power, of the same thing.
Have we met?
Possibly. I'm not sure. Thank you. Okay. So, ironically, we have here 2 subconscious cards. There's beautiful ink blots on the back if you're playing with friends or family or oneself to dive in deeper to interdimensional relationships. What is the biggest what if in your mind? And how aware are you of your own traumas? Have you made the conscious choice to work on this? Okay. We'll allow those to inspire. Thank you. Okay. So when I'm in this, when I follow this fluid from a, oh, okay. So this face thing that I was talking about, see how it's like leaning back? This is projecting out. This one's leaning back, plugged in, leaking, letting go, loving, whatever the case may be. And then this is projecting out. It's astral. It's like the astral body. Thank you. How aware of you are of your own traumas, and have you made the conscious choice to work on this? I think many people are, and maybe in relation to the topic of worship beyond religious framework, beyond typical topical.
How does it work?
What is that? Personalities? Like deities? Personalities? Did I say that? I don't know. Okay. And working through any sort of traumas, this, are you aware of them? But I think they come up in different landscapes, because I'm back in the brain, the hippocampus. I really need to stop trying to figure out science words that are not even close into my palate. And making the conscious choice to work on that, it's like suddenly I am worshiping myself. I am applying the power that might be released into other egregores and energy entities. And I'm suddenly like plugging it into my own astral landscape for me to explore, for me to walk, for me to create the conditions in which I can best heal, help, or become aware. What is the biggest what if in your mind? I'm in that brain thing. I'm in, yeah, that brain area. And then I flow out.
Sister.
Maybe it has something to do with the sister for some people. What's on the bottom here? Everything in perfect balance, yeah? The number 8. And that Libra came up earlier, right? Yes, I didn't make that up. I don't think I made that up. Doable. The key is within your grasp. Samadhi, perfect acceptance. You aware of your own traumas. It's all doable. The key is within your grasp. Because I feel like in the astral body, it's not bound to the same things, but it kind of is. It experiences with them, so it's communicating back and forth to create this landscape. That's why it's fire and water. Yep. Okay. Samadhi, perfect acceptance. Conscious
Sit
choices. Down. What is the biggest what if in your mind? And it brings me into a contemplation I had the other day of somebody asking oneself, like, who am I? But then which seems like a common question. I personally wasn't looking for an answer, but I was contemplating the questionnaire, and it was wandering through like the who, what, where, when, and why. So we can ask, who am I? When am I? Where am I? What am I? How am I? To be honest with you, I was like, well, it didn't seem like a whole lot. Like, it just seemed like I enjoyed spending time looking at the question contemplation versus wasting any time with the answer. Not because it's wasteful, just it wasn't my goal. I don't know. That's a weird share, but okay. Solitude, alone, but not lonely. So I'm also making me feel like when I'm there, because there is another person in there as well. This very much so makes me feel like I'm in that astral realm. It's almost like building your afterlife while you're living your earthly life. Interesting. Okay, by looking at all these things, it's very, very fluid. And though in that state we may feel alone, in the dream state, in the astral state, whatever the case may be, call it what you will, call it what you may, to help navigate, but without maybe worshiping that word or holding it in concrete, but being open to flow around even other people's perspectives of it, to consciously pick out, right? And though you might feel like this landscape is a lonely one, there are other beings there and there are other characters there. But they're in energetic forms that are more fluid. They can communicate differently. Again, they're not bound to what we perceive as the earthly expression. And it all seems to come down in this moment anyway to power. Some sort of power. Learning personal power, projected power in and out. Exclamations, absolutely. And then conversations with what we hear. Because I'm seeing like one of these things. I don't know what they're called, right? Imagine if that was a telephone.
I see you.
Fantastic. I'm such a child. I apologize. But that's what, and now like with the elephant, and I saw it was like this broad listening. And now it's turning in on me in a positive way is how I'm feeling it. And it's like, my own music, my own multidimensional nature, my own multiverses are present. And I can hear, and it's like I'm doing something with music really, really loud. Whatever that music is, could be tones of words, internal thoughts, external thoughts. And they're very clear. And I notice how they move me, create movement in action, inaction even. These cards are chaos cards, so there's no words. Yeah. What locks my intuition? What measurements? Oh yeah, there's all about like measurements and like a building of this body, but I think it's in the mindscape, but it just happens to be expressed in my action or inactions as I'm out and about. But I'm getting to the grid of it. It's like I can see the egg beaters bring me into like busyness, but see how in the dress cage the moon's locked up. It could represent some sort of intuitive power, or it's too many. Some trickery afoot. In the subcon state, or that seeps into, coming back to that fluid that seeps into my subcon that I don't even know about. It's like listening to music with subliminal messages in it, or with whatever it's called. I think it's infused in like a lot of other things that were not maybe aren't so blatantly obvious. And those who might see the blatantly obvious, or what appears to them blatantly obvious, symbols and things and background of things, there's still another layer, and there's still another layer. So it's almost like there's like backup security systems for it.
Amazing.
Okay, getting ready to close out here. This whole hoopla came out. Again, it's way too much. Blossom.
Haunted.
This is what it feels like. And I love that you said haunted. That's amazing. If anyone's holistic nature is feeling haunted, it's like going through your own haunted house. Some rooms are going to be spooky. You might have like the doll room that holds memories of things, or it's like a museum, but it's a little epicray, right? And it's like the egg beaters are your like divining rods, or your weapon of choice to mix things up. So, and like till the soil and reclaim the wonderfulness of worship within oneself. Okay. These cards are crazy chaos. On the bottom we have here liberation. And we have Theotokos, God bearer. Incredible. And there's even like that eye up there, right? And I feel like in a really roundabout way, we've been looking at this from an internal space, external space, individual to, again, we can call it media, to advertising, to the planet, to different people, to different groups of people, cultures, this, that, or the other, all the way to the planet. This micro, macro. And it's like take your medicine. And then I'm hearing Mary Poppins, like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And it was like taking time to have tea with your own divinity. And that's not based on anything else. No lore, history, mythology. Again, choose a word, pick it, and apply it, or don't. Personal divinity has nothing to do with anything else. They are simply have been expressions for you to feel not triggered. And then what's the other one? Glittered? Is that what they call it now? Triggered and glittered? Like little hints, different languages that are being lived out. Triggers and glittered. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been an amazing Scry session. I am so grateful that we got to be here together. If you would like a personal, the link is below in the description if you want to donate, support, and of course, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much.